giving a voice to the voiceless. We share the stories behind our freedoms and the ultimate sacrifice of those who protect us all. This is Patriots Inside the Wire.
Beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country.
Great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome to the Patriots Inside the Wire broadcast, hosted by Gold Star mom, Tracy Two-Step.
Hello. How is everyone out there? This is Patriots Inside the Wire. This is Lori, Tree of Valor. How are you doing tonight, Lori?
Great. Happy to be here as always.
I'm glad. And are you in the gallery there?
Yes, with all
we will show them towards the end. Again, you're on Patriots Inside the Wire tonight with myself, Tracy Two-Step, the Sergeant Two-Step Foundation, Miss Lori Egerter, the Tree of Valor. She is a Blue Star mother. I am a Gold Star mother. No explanations there. We are families of those who serve. We have two guests for you tonight. Lori, we had a great time doing our research and getting all the information we could on Brian and Mike. And so I'd like to actually bring them both up and let them get to know each other too and make this platform where we're all together. But I know you did a lot of the information. Go ahead for me out there, everyone out there. Share, like, subscribe, grab your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, the dog, and share the story for us so we can give you the information tonight that we've been dying to give you about a new lane that we are creating in regards to not just music, but the community and taking care of the families. So, Lori, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You are. Okay. And she is in the gallery, everybody. She's actually in the gallery there. So that's always a great thing too. So please step up. Right now, I am going to bring up Mike Ryan. Mike Ryan, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Tracy?
I am doing good. We just got to talk with you a little bit backstage. You know, we'll be bringing up Brian, founder of Big Stick Bourbon. Lori got to meet you as well. And I think what I'd like to do is go ahead and bring Brian, and we can all four get to know each other very well. There he is. How's
everybody doing?
How are you doing?
Doing great.
There's an echo there.
Hang on.
Hold on a minute, Mike. Somebody's got a thing on it. Okay, Lori, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
And Mike? Yep. There we go.
Gotcha.
Brian's a tempo, but it's okay. I don't know if it's on social media or something. When I click you off, Brian, it goes away. I'm okay with it if everyone out there is okay. But
did I fix it?
Well, let's get going. Lori, let's get to the guest. Brian Sprague is founder of Music Art, as well as a veteran. Thank you for your service. And Mike Ryan is the family and veteran company of Big Stick Spirits. Do me a favor, do you have a social media app or anything on, Lori? Are you on your phone?
I don't have anything else open.
Okay. Well, let's not worry about it. There's an echo. Let's go ahead. So let's get Mike and Brian. Mike, why don't you lead us into a little bit of what's behind you and what you're up to as well,
Sure.
and then introduce you to Brian. And we'll just we can all be hosts.
All righty. So I started Big Stick Bourbon 5 or 6 years ago now. My partner, Joe, is retired Lieutenant Colonel Marine Corps. So he's got an interesting career as well. My family served Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Navy SEALs, and Space Forces. And I've been affiliated with the military through my family, all my life. And I learned a while back, not common knowledge, but when my son was at Notre Dame, the way I have family history there, one of my first relatives in the USA came over during the Civil War.
Wow.
And she was a Catholic nun and a nurse. And during the Civil War, the medical personnel were given Army commissions. So she was actually a captain in the Army during the Civil War. And she's got a military tombstone in Notre Dame.
Wow.
So that's our background, though. Yeah. But I'm the engineer. I'm the person that doesn't sleep very well at night, I guess. So I dream stuff up, and then I go to my workshop and see if I can make it work. So
You're, as far as building,
He doesn't sleep either.
no. I went into my workshop one day and I said, I want to make a bourbon. Can I make a bourbon age in the bottle like a fine wine? Because it'll get more expensive if it ages over time. And the only way to do that is to actually add a stick inside the bottle, which is what we did. So I talked to my patent attorneys, came up with the patent. I called up Joe. And so understand Joe's, he was a graduate of Texas. Went into the Corps, 21 years, Lieutenant Colonel, JAG officer. So he's a Marine. He served at the Pentagon under the Commandant, his Commandant's office. So love the guy to death. He's my brother, but he's a Marine. Square peg, square hole, right? I mean, he's a by the book guy. So I called him up and I said, Joe, I got this idea for a business. Let's start a bourbon company. And he goes, I'm in. I said, don't you want to know how much? He goes, no. I'm in. Let's do it. So that's pretty much how we started.
I love it.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years ago, I got a patent on it. We're in multiple stores, only in Texas, but we're doing pretty well. We've got a loyal following. I'd love to expand, obviously, but why we're special is because I didn't want to just say, hey, we're a military brand. It's 95 proof, also symbolic that we donate 5% back to military charities forever. And so that's the thing. And that's what I love about this is I meet folks like yourselves they're doing the same thing, just in a different way. And I have more stories than I could possibly share with people. All across the country, all across the world. I just meet the greatest people you could imagine. So
I love it. So I've sent a message for anyone here on the screen. You can see in the private chat there. We'll just probably mute one person when the others are speaking. There's a channel that someone has open, but that's okay. Mike, I got to hear every bit of that. Lori, and you did too. And Brian, I can tell that you did. Brian is used to being on podcasts, music. He's right in his element there. Mike, that was amazing what you were just talking about, especially about the family there. Lori, do you have a question too?
Well, I've only ever met one person, I think, who had someone in the Space Force. We actually have a Space Force tree here, but the few pictures that we have on it are pictures that someone found and gave us, but they're not organic, like, oh, this belongs to. So we would love to add your family member to the trees. That would be, and then of course that would always, then it would rotate us back to you and your story. So we make family trees for people here. So
okay.
Beautiful family, or your whole family goes on one tree, and then your family name goes on it. So it would be,
Oh, wow. Thank you. Okay.
yeah. So even the whole way back to your, is she great grandma, or who would that be?
Cousin.
Oh, cousin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cousin.
So, yeah, I just think it's the only place in the whole world where your whole family serves together. Your whole family serves together by being on these trees, and then they travel America, and
Oh, wow. All
this
right.
actually shows America the real fabric of our nation, because you see dozens of these trees, each with a different name on them, because everybody on that tree, whether they're here or whether they're fallen, that keeps your family history always in a special.
Thank you. Thank you.
That and we just put together the fallen flags that we'll be carrying around to the different events we'll be doing. Some of that is actually going to be with Brian, so we'll be chiming him in here in a second and let him just literally go and start talking. Brian SPRAGUE is with us tonight, and I just said that very country. I know that. You don't have to remind me. And then Mr. Mike Ryan is here with Big Stick Bourbon. You can find that at Big Stick Spirits. And find a lot of information in regards to them. Instagram's an easy way. There's also websites. They still exist out there. I advise going to it. The story behind Mike and his father, the veteran-owned business that they are doing, and those that they are contributing back to the community is just as important in what you do, Mike, and the people that we have in common. We're all about taking care of that community and building that foundation. So while we've got veterans over here, then we've got the surviving families of the fallen, which is different from the veteran and their core family. Lori and I know this, which is 5 active duty service members die every single day on our own soil. That's active duty. That doesn't mean veteran. That means that we're kind of forgetting about them. So we make sure that we don't forget that. On top of the 22, on top of the 1, and then the other 3. So we also remember our first responders. Those who are serving, and those veterans and first responders. So we stay focused on that. We stay focused on the siblings, the children, and the families. So Mike, it was great to hear what you were talking about too. Do you mind grabbing that bottle again? I want to see that bottle has the stick in it.
Oh yeah.
Look, so it comes literally with that.
Yeah.
So I was telling, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Did we fix the echo? I think so. All right.
We did with you, Brian.
I was telling Tracy before, I was like, I don't know what Big Stick is, but now that you described it, I've actually seen your product multiple times on TikTok from because I follow a lot of bourbon reviewers and tequila reviewers. And I will tell you that I have not come across one like bourbon aficionado, self-proclaimed, I guess, that has not loved your products. So I'm very happy to hear that it's actually a veteran-owned family of business. That's amazing.
Well, yeah, not me personally. I'm not a veteran. Understand?
And his father.
But I love y'all just the same. Yeah.
Yeah, his father. So that makes you a part of us. So
the family, right?
We're about the families. Yes.
And
so we got Lori's here. Like her son has served. He's now a veteran, and he's out. You have Brian here, who is a veteran, and he's not active any longer. I'm still here because my son's serving active didn't make it out. So that's the easiest way to put it. So we're going to take care of everything. Veterans, their kids, like Lori's, my kid, and the siblings, the families, the survivors of the fallen. And then Brian, as a veteran, has some things going on too. With the Texas music chart. I knew, Brian, that you had to have, because Mike, Springboard, right? You know, berry coughing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that, Brian?
I am, yep.
Okay. So Mike knows very, very well, which Barry is tied to Two-Step Tribe, literally, and he was this year for Houston very closely. So, which Brian would know how that happened. But Springboard and berry coughing is how, Mike, I didn't even realize that we would be tied even closer than that.
We sponsored the music festival this year. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, well, didn't know that. I do not chase money. I chase the good people. Does not mean we don't need sponsors. It means we look for good people in our community doing good things.
I do have a question. I'll ask a question about the bourbon. I wanted to know, you have thought about why so many veterans get involved in the distillery business, whether it's bourbon or tequila, like any other. I just know a lot of businesses that are distilleries of one sort or another. There's someone in the background there that is a veteran. Do you have any thoughts about why that is?
So we're also members of the Houston Veterans Chamber of Commerce, by the way, which is a not so subtle pitch, but they're great people. I think there's over 300 members now across the entire Houston metro area. They're doing excellent work. A lot of veterans, need help transitioning into the private sector. You don't learn how to run a profit and loss sheet when you've got an M4 in your hand, right? I mean, yeah, maybe you learn how to count your bullets, but that's about it. I mean, there's a lot goes into regulations are a killer. There's more regulations in the liquor business than there are in the military, and I kid you not.
You understand
it's hard. And Texas is one of the roughest states in the country to do a spirits business.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, I believe it or not, California is a lot easier. I hate to say it. California is easier. Louisiana and Florida are much easier. Yeah, some states are impossible, like Oregon and Washington, because they give you like a 20 or 30% tax the minute you make something. It's even higher taxed. They're chasing businesses out of the state. It's insane. But now the politicians, and again, I hate to say this, but now we're facing competition in Texas. The THC drinks, so that's where the younger folks are going to the THC drinks instead of the wine coolers and the bourbon. So now we're losing customers to, I hope they outlaw it for God's sakes, but yeah. So it's just crazy. But I mean, I've offered my services to help people in counseling. I've got some other business ideas in the works as we speak, where we want to hire veterans, part of the Texas Economic Development Corporation. That's the kind of a thing. The Texas EDC, the EDC Council, is about expanding our business and hiring veterans and things like that. So a whole nother discussion. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot there. I love veterans because they know how to execute. And there's no excuses. I don't hear excuses. I hear, what do you want me to do? How do I do it? Okay, I'll get it done. And that's worth a lot to a business. Not have to look over people's shoulder and have to ask twice.
Initiative is my favorite word.
Yeah.
Well, and Lori, I might be able to possibly answer your question in a little bit different light. For a lot of soldiers, and I think it contributes to the suicide rate that we see in veterans, we go from a very hyper-vigilant state while we're deployed to where we're always on guard, and most people don't understand what that means to be hyper-vigilant. You are not able to let your guard down 24/7, sometimes for 18 months at a time, and what that does to the human psyche is crazy. But when they come out into the civilian world, now it's the opposite side of a script. Everything is kind of laissez-faire. Everything is disorganized. Everything is chaotic. And there's no real help for individual veterans that I know of that directs them. And so most veterans that I know are either entrepreneurs, they have a drive to do something for themselves because they want to work for themselves, or they're looking for a place that has structure and regulation and something more akin to the rules and regulations that they are looking for and used to.
Right.
Makes that a
Good
good
answer. It is an actually true answer. And then in mine, I'm going to tell you, as a family, Brian always told me to remind him to say that word. As a family, also, it is that is why I went away for a little while. And Mike and I had a conversation that for me to go back and work with what I call corporate America is life's so short, and we need to do a lot of things in this community, which is taking care of each other and the families of the fallen, along with our veterans. That there's just so much that I want to do there. There's no way, my gosh, I'd end up on the news or something, and I'm a nice person, but I don't think it's where I need to be. So I took my break. I'm a big truth teller when that comes. Music is very medicinal. So writing and then getting involved in that area again, like I was, and then now bringing together the Sergeant Two-Step Foundation, which we'll get into more of that in a different show, but just pieces here we'll let Brian get into. I put up the logo up there because it has Space Force in it, Mike. Just for you up there, we covered all our bases on this show, so making sure that we did. I'm glad you said that, Lori. You picked up on that. But yes, Big Stick was there at Springboard. You can look that up at Springboard Fest for anyone that's watching. I can actually see, I'm saying hello to Vicky. Vicky's over there on a channel right now. Thanks for tuning in over there. Mike, Brian Sprague, and this is Lori. Brian is now, I think it's best for you to explain it, Brian. Why don't you tune us into what, because there is so much to go with you.
Oh, man.
We're done, by the way.
Where do I start? So a couple years ago, I got involved. Actually, it starts 4 years ago. I went to a concert, and it was the show of my life. I mean, the drive and the amount of passion that these artists put into this show. And then the lights came on, and I realized there was only about 6 people in the audience. And I went home that night, and I was telling my wife, I was like, there has got to be something we can do to get people to see these shows. And so she had a camera. I was not a photographer. And I started going down to the stockyards in Fort Worth and just taking pictures, offering them for free to artists, posting them on what was originally called Texas Country Music Connection. That slowly formed into Texas Country Music News, which is still going strong on Facebook. I've got 2 retired ladies that are just avid concert goers, and they're constantly tagging the page, and they're, doing exactly what it was meant to do, which was just raise awareness about live shows and great talent at a local level. About 18 months ago, I had the idea put in my head to start a chart. So we started what was originally called Official Texas Music Chart, which started out as really monitoring just 40 stations. And now we are just Texas Music Chart. And as of today, we are monitoring digitally 341 stations across the country, which makes us officially the largest digitally monitored chart in the country. We monitor Texas music, red dirt music, and Americana. And that's kind of our bread and butter. And then in February of this year, March of this year, I finally kind of kicked myself in the butt and said, it's time to just actually do something. And so I founded Texas Academy of Country Music. And that's where Tracy and I got involved and got to know each other, was through a mutual friend. And so thank you, Uncle Rhino. Texas Academy.
Mary. Thank you to Mary, as well. So
and Mary, yes.
Let's say thank you to her too.
Absolutely. And Mary's an amazing person, and CMA Texas is an amazing foundation. I'm so happy to have finally gotten to talk with her on the phone and get to know more about what she's doing, and look forward to supporting her for many years to come.
Yes.
But Texas Academy of Country Music is a nonprofit. We're in the process of getting our 501c3. It's set up to help veterans and families of veterans, thank you, Tracy, get into the music industry. We want to provide them with the tools that they need to break into the music industry. I don't care what it is. If they want to be an artist, if they want to be a drummer, they want to be a guitar player, they want to be a sound engineer, a studio engineer, doesn't matter. I'm going to find a way to get you the tools, the training, and we're going to put you with a industry peer that we vetted, and you're going to basically do on-the-job training to get into that industry and provide you with the tools to start your own business. We're going to do a similar thing with teens. So ages 14 and up, we're going to help teens find the passion for the actual business side of music, and provide them with scholarships and training and another peer-to-peer mentor, an artist mentor, to help them get into the industry, as well as help them go to schooling that helps support the music industry as a whole. Then we're going to help artists, of course. We want to help them actually refine their business, look at it as a business and not just a hobby. It's really simple, especially in Texas, to go from being a part-time musician and working a job. It's really actually quite simple to go to a full-time musician. You just have to have the drive to do it. But a lot of these guys need a little extra help. They need some vocal lessons. They need some guitar lessons, and we want to provide that, as well as an emergency relief fund.
Time.
Yep. As well as an emergency relief fund for them. in the act of, I had an artist come over here for a podcast and some acoustic sessions, and the next day they had a bunch of their microphones and cables stolen out of the back of their truck. At a holiday, I think it was a Motel 6 or Holiday Inn or something. So rather than money, I actually just want to provide them with gear so they can get back to doing what they do to make money. And then we want to help venues. We want to help venues adapt a music first mentality. We want to provide them with the tools that they need to succeed, provide them with, if budget allows, and because we're completely donation driven and whatnot, if funding allows, we'll help upgrade their lighting, make sure the stage is safe, upgrade their sound, whatever the case may be. But altogether, it's at its core, it's meant to just help bring honesty, integrity back to the music industry in Texas, and to help everybody we can along the way.
I love that, Brian. And again, the reason that he corrected me a moment ago is because every time we talk, he's like, remind me that it's families too, because we have a very similar mission driven, every one of us actually. I'm just adding in the kids, the families. So he's like, tell me every time. So I think he's going to remember all the time. Part of the reason that we all met, I mean, I've been with Lori for a long time, and we actually met at festivals, music things, setting up and doing a lot of different things. A lot of people, I don't talk about me writing or anything. I don't plan to get on a stage unless it's handing out an award, which is coming, the Sergeant Two-Step Award. I wanted to put that out there. Brian was put on a call with me because we are doing it with the CMAs, and there is a concert that is September 27th. It's the Sergeant Two-Step concert, and that will be in Houston. We'll get you more details later. And then at the CMA Awards, for the first time, Brian, Mary is with the CMAs. We will be giving out the Sergeant Two-Step Award. So that Sergeant Two-Step Award is going to go towards our artists that have been in the community supporting. You don't have to play music. You could be someone like Mike Ryan here, who does all sorts of things in his business, but gives back to that community. You could be Brian, a veteran who's working in multiple areas of music out there and within the community. It's humanitarian. It is artist driven. And it is putting it back. And it is for the underprivileged children out there. I grew up that way, and I want to see tickets going to families. That's two-step tickets that we have to concerts. Listen, I'm not a Swiftie, everybody, but listen, I sent a little girl. I'm not kidding. If you are, okay, but not this one. I sent a little girl. She was probably 8 years old. And this is with my other organizations I no longer have. To a Swiftie concert, and you would not believe the mother was deployed. That little girl to this day, thinks that is the biggest thing that's ever happened in her whole life. And I knew it from being as a mother whose kid was deploying, and it was like, you want to go everywhere to eat, you want to go to this, you want to go to that. And I was like, my God, this is expensive. So I have deployed night out and two-step tickets. Two-step tickets I've kept. And that is just getting tickets to give to the people, who can't afford to go, and exposing the arts to them. That's two-step tickets. And the Sergeant Two-Step Foundation kind of encompasses everything we are talking about as far as support. I interject with Brian and Mike, and Lori's already there with me, about talking about the siblings and the families. So we're putting this bridge together to bring us all together. We have Brian. I had a message for you saying hello here from someone. I don't know if you're watching the comments or not, but I wanted to talk to her offline. I just want to say hi, Cindy. Give me a call. Nice to see you. Just so you know, we've had people literally interact back and forth. You're probably trying to figure out what we're doing tonight. So tonight, I do have a song at the end, and we do have a surprise because Lori is in the gallery, literally, where she's at. And Brian Sprague, we did meet through an individual that is working on music as well, and trying to take in there with the Sergeant Two-Step Foundation with everything Brian's doing. And then Mike, I had 3 people say, do you know Mike Ryan? And I said, no, but I will. What about him? So the funny thing is that, Brian, I've been on the phone with and sent him a summary, and I don't hold back. So he was like, what are you looking for? I'm like, okay, hold on. and it's already gone to him. Like the whole summary. Here's what I need. I need a minimum of 50 grand. That's I'm like, I'm not saying 50, 100. If you want to talk about just covering the basics, like not paying me, but giving back to everything. And Brian, as you know, we pay for our own airtime. We pay for anything we do. We are not so I'm saying hi to a lot of radio stations out there. So the ones that do carry us, we're saying thank you to you. I have to do a shout out to 107.5 The Swamp, because before we were in front of people's faces, these are people who jumped right in and have been with us, and Heroes Media Group, which is carrying us as well on their network. So shout out to them as well. You do have Brian Sprague. He is a veteran. Thank you for your service. He's with the founder of the Texas Music Chart. A lot going on there that he's working on. He's about to have a really big surprise coming up in music. He is also doing the ACM Awards in Texas, correct, Brian?
So it's the Texas ACM Awards. It's coming up. It'll be in March of next year. Yeah, so not to be confused with the ACM Awards that are in Plano, that are the actual, the Academy of Country Music Awards. I wish I was that big. I'm not there yet. One day, maybe, hopefully. But yeah, the goal, the long-term goal for Texas ACM, the award show, is to be a 3-day festival of just amazing music from amazing artists. The vision is to, if you're familiar with Fort Worth, have stages that run from Sundance Square all the way to the convention center, and offer it as a free concert for anybody in the city that wants to come. And have 6 or 7 stages spread out down Main Street, and then have a ticketed event inside the convention center during the night. Part of the reason I wanted to talk to Tracy is I would love for Patriot Fest or something similar to be the outside concert series for that, to help raise awareness for the Gold Star families, help raise awareness for everything that she's doing. And then in the inside, next year we will also be presenting the Sergeant Two-Step Award, and I'm proud to do that.
Thank you.
And I was telling Tracy it needs to be its own unique part of the show, because it stands apart from music, but it is so very important to the overall mission of what we are, trying to accomplish overall. And so, the veteran and families of veterans, I would say that the families sometimes have the harder go of it. Both while veterans are deployed, they're having to do everything by themselves. And then, the veteran comes home and, for lack of a better term, they're broken and they don't want help and they want to figure it out on their own. And sometimes they don't make the best decisions. And so the family goes through a lot, and it's not just the spouses and the kids, but it's extended family too. And it's a lot for the families to undertake. They don't realize they're making that commitment when, in my case, my first wife, I knew her for 2 weeks before I married her at Fort Knox. So with my second wife now, we've been together 15 years.
Warning. That's usually called a Jody. That's so in the Army, I was always warned about Jodies. My son and others, everybody in my family that had served, was always like telling my son, watch out. There's even a cadence. Brian, you probably know it, but so sorry for everyone out there, but I know it as, it's called Jodies. I say, you stay away from those women near those bases.
Yep. I wish I had somebody like you telling me that when I did it first, but
it doesn't always work.
The upside is I got 3 beautiful kids out of it, so can't complain too much.
Thing. Yes.
So I have a question. Sorry. So do you ever work with guitars for vets?
I have not formally worked with Guitars for Vets. One of my board members on Texas ACM is he's the representative for Guitars for Vets in the College Station area. Jack Nelson, he's an amazing Navy veteran and artist, and does so much for community. He also works with a bunch of veteran songwriting camps and things like that. But no, I would love to get involved with Guitars for Vets. We kind of have a similar mission. It's just where they're specialized in one piece. I'm kind of taking the get everybody under one umbrella approach.
They're more like songwriting, right? Like the helping
So
you learn how to play.
the Guitars for Vets, from my understanding, is you approach them and it's all about learning guitar.
Mhm.
And they will put you through a class with a teacher, teach you how to play the guitar. They give you a guitar to play, and if you complete the class, you get to keep the guitar.
Mm.
So
Cool.
There's programs that we'll be providing. Let's do another show on another night where we talk about other organizations, y'all. Instead, let's talk about our own show. Let's not talk about others.
I
Not
just
that
want
we
to
don't want to support.
know if it was the same, you know, if it was the
I'm
same.
watching our listeners out here, and they're going, "What? What?" I'm
Yeah.
like, no, we're not. We are not Guitars for Vets. However, we're doing a lot that is similar. So I want to
They're
make sure that I clear that up.
Yeah, he's the next after that. Like,
Well, I'm
and-
assuming you guys need bourbon for all these music festivals.
We need bourbon and sponsors
I
and
just-
venues. So, for instance, Big
All right.
Stick Bourbon, number one is sponsors. You know that. Just being on radio for years, what used to be radio, I always tell everyone, if you think about this a long time ago, radio's the original podcast. You know, people would sit around, and the radio is where you heard the jingles and the commercials and your news and your music. We're going back old school. We want to bring these radio stations back to the communities and get the growth going more back together to the people. That is one big goal. So, and get us all working together, whether you're in this lane, you can be in the country lane, you can be in the rock lane, whatever it is. Music is medicinal. It brings people together. Some of you may not even know that September 27th, we are doing the concert on that day for a reason. Do you know why we picked that date, Brian or Mike?
I think I do.
You do. Who said that?
that was Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, tell me, what do you think?
You're gonna quiz me. Is that when your son passed?
No, he was killed February 1st, but
I
September,
believe that's Gold Star Family Day, is it not?
it sure is. It is. So it's a federal day. It's just not recognized yet. So a lot of people don't know what that means, and really not everyone's. That Gold Star part does not matter. So I usually like to say survivors of the fallen, because just, well, if you're not in the military, like, I don't want to explain a lot. I take care of, and so does Lori, survivors of the fallen and the veterans. But there is a day. It's called Gold Star Family Day, and there's Gold Star Mother's Day, and it originally was Gold Star Mother's Day. Now there's families, and that is September 27th. It's a Saturday this year. That is why we picked that date for the very first concert series, the Sergeant Two-Step concert, and then the awards will be in October. The awards show is a private ceremony. The concert is going to be a ticketed event where the Gold Star families will be getting in. And then Brian, that's where I spoke to you. And then I eventually would have been talking to Mike too. But my friend there grabbed both of you and said, "These are your guests for Wednesday." And I was like, okay. So I've already been on the phone with Brian, and we've covered a lot of bases. Brian, you're working on a lot, but you've got my summary. It's the go big or go home. It's like, if you ask me what we need or what we want, be careful. You're going to get the true. You're going to get the truth. So the truth is, literally, let's sponsor it. Let's get your bourbon into the venues that we're. Oh, look at that. That figures. That happens to be every show, doesn't it? Lori's always like, "What the heck?"
What's the logo on Big Stick Bourbon? It kind of looks like, is that Quana?
So there's all kinds of hidden symbols on here. Like I said, I don't sleep very much. So Odin's the all-father spirit of the military. He's the warrior spirit. Underneath, Semper Fi Brands is actually our company name. I guess you could figure that's for the Marine Corps, right? So the tip of the spear, if you probably can't see it very well here, but the tip of the spear is for Navy SEALs, okay? You can't tell, but the bottle itself is designed to look like a soldier. It's hourglass, exact color matches for the Marine Corps uniform, exact Pantone colors, if you know what that is. Even, you ever seen Marine Corps dress blues? The button on their dress blues
Mm-hmm.
Is we can see it's gold. It's about the same size.
That's it.
The other
Now, I'm
symbol.
going to ask, you know what I'm going to ask, right, Brian? Where's Army?
So I'm going to try to do this, right? See, he's holding the Captain America shield.
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay. So for the Air Force, the three
Yeah.
birds flying in formation,
Yeah.
right? For Navy and the Coast Guard above the barcode, there's the old boat
There
from
it
the
is.
barcode.
He's
And
got
then
it.
Polaris North Star, the boat's looking at the Polaris North Star, which is part of the Space Force logo.
There you go. I
There you
love
go.
it. You covered all your bases there. And I always normally say, huh. Brian was in the Army, so he would say it even louder and better than me.
Yeah.
There. And then
Well-
Marine, they say it different, but I have a lot of friends in Marine.
Hoorah. Hoorah.
Yeah. You got hua, you got ura, but you could.
But then
probably-
you also you got the Navy hooyah. So
and,
don't forget
and,
about
and
that.
there's that. Yeah. So I'll just do what Mike did and say simplify and hua. I know what that is. I'm very familiar with that in the Army. So.
You know, I'll have to give it to the Marines on symbolism because they are much better at it. I have a tattoo on my arm here, and a lot of people don't even realize that the Army's official motto is "This will defend." It's on all the Army flags. It's a stake surrounded by "This will defend." Most soldiers that I know have no clue that that is the Army motto of "This will defend." Most of them equate it with the TV campaigns. So it's either did you join under the Go Army, did you join under the Army of One, or did you join under the Army of the Next Generation?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, just like Mike did to me, to go big or go home, my son had that tattoo. I have a picture of it. Yeah, yes. You just did that to me. You just gave me chills. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. I feel it. You have a message here. It's Frank. Frank's joining us here in the show. And he's saying Army is inside the bottle.
You know what? That's the absolute truth. In fact, that bottle you're holding around looks like it got attacked by a soldier because it's empty. So.
So that's what Frank said. Do you know Frank?
I don't know, Frank.
Okay, well, nice to meet you, Frank. I'm glad that you're giving me all these pointers. He feels like your brand of your bottle, that whole inside is Army. So thank you, Frank. He's been joining us for quite some time. Also, thank you again. I see your message there. Mike, where are you based out of?
So we're at Houston, Texas, Katy, Texas specifically.
Okay.
But I travel throughout the state. We just did a few Whiskey Riot events. And for Brian's sake, it'll be May 24th, downtown Fort Worth, the social space. I'll be there at the Whiskey Riot. The week before, I'll be in San Antonio at the Freeman Center, May 17th. So that's where about 1,000 aficionados buy tickets. You get in, and there's about 100 different vendors.
Wow. You'll have to send me that on the back channels, and I'll keep that out. I will be in Nashville taking care of some things for a couple of weeks, or I would definitely run down there. But the concert we're doing is right there in Conroe. And then anything that comes up before that, definitely let us know, Mike. And then we have Brian over here that we're looking at different festivals other than, the very large one, because we are Go Big or Go Home in March. And Lori will come in and be able to help set up and do a lot of that work too, Brian. We're she is the boss in that area. So we will not have anything to worry about with Lori being the one saying, this is how it works, like set up. So as far as anything to do when we're involved, look at Lori for, she's the boss, like she'll tell you.
Lori's team. Lori's team, not just Lori.
So, Mike, I got one more question for you. Are you in, like, if I went down to Specs, do they have your Bourbon Inside Specs?
So we're in their computer system. We're not in every store. You all can help me by bugging the managers and asking for it.
Okay.
In stores. So that's a good way to do it. Yeah, we're with a small distributor. It's Jima out of San Antonio. But needless to say, we're in the Twins, the Specs, and the Total Wines. But again, the more people ask for it, the better. I mean, that's just how the business works. We don't have $1 million for marketing. It's all through word of mouth and the tribe, right? It's the family, it's the tribe. So
That's us.
So for those the vast majority of people I've discovered don't really know the difference between bourbon and whiskey. And
sure.
Whiskey's real popular. I wouldn't say it's real good in Texas, but it's real popular in Texas. So what makes bourbon different?
So whiskey's generic. It means anything derived from corn. Okay. Tequila is made with agave. It's a plant, right? That's why it tastes green. So Irish whiskey, Scotch whiskey, it's made from barley. American whiskey is generally made from corn. And I've done 45, 50-minute shows to corporations about, the history of whiskey in America. But the long and short of it is mostly it's made from corn, and whiskey can be distilled and aged for, 1 day or something, and it's just whiskey. Bourbon's a subset. It's very specific. It's got to be a minimum 51% corn. And then it's got to be aged in American charred white oak barrels for a minimum of 1 day. That makes lousy bourbon, but it's legally bourbon. If it's 2 years or more, the legal word is straight. So if you see straight bourbon or straight rye whiskey, that's what that means. So the bourbon's minimum 51% corn. It can go up to 99, right? Moonshine means you add sugar to the mix. Once you add sugar to the fermentation process, you can't call it bourbon because sugar juices the alcohol content. So it's cheating. Okay. So legally, bourbon can only be made in America. Scotch can only be made in Scotland. Tequila can only be made in Mexico and bottled in Mexico. That's an international treaty. Has nothing to do with chemistry. It's a business treaty.
Yeah, I was talking to another liquor manufacturer, and he said, yeah, if he ever got into anything, he would have to call it an agave spirit.
Correct, agave or mezcal. To be bottled in America, you'd have to bottle it. You could send everything to Mexico, bottle it, and bring it back, and then you could legally call it tequila. But
Gotcha.
So let me show you the difference. This is what most bourbons or whiskeys look like, and that's the color of ours. See the difference?
Wow.
So that's what we mean by adding all that flavor and color in the bottle. That's why it's 4 or 5 shades darker.
Yeah, I could see you through that tube. Literally, it was so diluted. I'm not kidding. Literally, I can see you. I love it, and I'm not a big drinker, but I like going to the music awards or something. I will have a drink or a casual, I guess, person at events. So I would love to try it. I definitely would try it.
Makes a killer old fashioned, if you like old fashioned, nice high end cocktail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have several retreats that we definitely do the smoked old fashions.
Hey, I can be your bartender. It's okay.
Yeah. There's a lot going on here. We just all have to branch together here in Texas and pull it together. In regards to the festivals, like Brian, so I have 2 things right here. Number 1, they want me to tell you to bring up the Texas music charts.
Okay.
When can we sample that in our liquor stores, Mike? We just went over that. Be sure to ask your liquor store, definitely, Valencia, to add Big Stick Bourbon. Yeah. And then you have this message here, and I wanted to hold on to it. I said hello to Cindy. Cindy sent me a website, and it is texasmusiccharts.com. Brian, that's you?
That is not me.
That's what I thought.
We are. I'll publicly say this. So I changed my name from Official Texas Music Chart to Texas Music Chart, not out of any kind of malice or ill will towards what Texas Music Chart was back 2016 and before, but because I was trying to do what I was, trying to tell artists to do, which was secure your branding and unify your logos, unify your handles on social media. And with having official in the name, I kept getting the warning that you're not an official government agency, and therefore you cannot use official in the name. So with that, we are slowly transitioning our name. It's kind of hard to go through 2 name changes in a year. That's a little tough. So we are slowly transitioning away from the Texas Music Chart name and into TMC. And so TMC is going to be the future designation of Texas Music Chart. So yeah.
Okay, so your website. Will you say that out for them then? So I just want to make sure to tell
Yeah,
them.
so the easiest way to find my website is texchart.com, texchart.com, or thetexasmusicchart.com. You can go to thecountrychart.com. All of them will get you to the same place.
Got it. I know here at Patriots Inside the Wire is so Texas Music Chart is founded and is still owned by Pam and Shane. So I was around y'all a lot. I just took a break. That's all. So I do know the different entities out there and a lot of the hard work that's gone into it. And I can say this, that I don't work for anybody, but I support the artists and I support everybody that's been doing the work out there for a very long time. And so I'm just trying to straighten out like who is on and who is not. And that is what we're doing tonight. And then sharing the subject of Mike and his company and the subject of Brian and what he's doing in regards to being a veteran too, taking care of that. And then I'm straightening out where to go and who is what. If you'd like to talk to me after that, you can surely send me a message. You can surely call or touch base, and I will definitely be glad to answer your questions. So thank you so much for tuning in. We are not quitting yet. We are going to tune back over to Brian and Mike. I just needed to address something. Lori, you're looking at me like you have no idea what's going on, but I just needed to clear up something over here. I've got it all clear. So I've got it handled. There's a music chart and music awards. They do a great thing here in Texas. The awards show like that I just attended. So rather than getting into all the politics, I do not do that. I get into I take care of artists because I am one myself too. And I'm a mother who lost her son. And so life's too darn short for me to get in the middle of any kind of anything. But, you know, I love it when people communicate, and this is great. So let's communicate and let's make sure we put out here. Brian is actually say it again, Brian.
It's TMC, Texas Music Chart.
Okay.
Yep, it is.
No, you got it.
Founded it as a DBA. I never saw a need to be anything other than DBA because it's not generating any money. But because of the politics, I am transitioning to TMC.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure we get the exact one out. I can tell you another easy one. So Brian Sprague right here. That's how you know. This is Brian Sprague. You've got T3R right there. I'm just giving examples to everybody. You've got CMA. You've got CMA of Texas. So getting familiar with all of that is I would have to do a whole show just to go over how radio is and who's in it and who's not and who owns what. But for our general audience right now, I'm trying to get them to understand who's on with us right now. This is a Wednesday. This is our warrior show right now. When this goes out, it's the stories and it's about the families. It's about the people. So Mike, and what you're doing, I love it. And again, like they said, they're looking to find out where they can get it.
Well, let's see. I'm Big Stick. I'm not giving up my big stick. I'm sure there's lots of jokes there, but
we might need that big stick,
but not for family show. I know.
Yeah.
But no, we're available. It's available through the liquor stores throughout Texas, and you'll see me from time to time in all the different cities, traveling around the state. I autograph bottles at the different stores, and so for special events and things like that, I mean, with what you guys are doing, I'm sure I'll be happy to be there and talk to folks and all the good things. So yeah.
I can't wait. Like I said, I'm sending prayers up right now to CMA with Texas Miss Mary out there, and she is taking care of us for September 27th. The series coming up in the Sergeant Two-Step Award. The same thing that Brian is as well looking towards was supporting the families and supporting with that awards lane. So we appreciate that. We are not the individuals to come to about Well, I can do business. I just don't want to do everybody else's business. How's that? I can definitely do it. But I just say, give me a call. I love that, Valenia. There you go. Thank you, girl.
So Valenia is one of the active reporters for Texas Country Music News. She is an absolute angel.
Okay.
So.
She's part of Tribe. She tunes in all the time on the music shows.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I just wanted to make sure to help. We have I don't know if I know one Cindy, so I'm saying hi to both of them and just saying the one that I do know to, just touch base with me and let's have a chat. Let's get you on, and I can definitely separate what is what. So on Patriots Inside the Wire, Priya Valor, my co-host over here who hosts right there in the gallery, is going to go to sleep if I keep talking about who's who and who's radio. This is not that show. This is a show that we're putting together. I know. Oh, I'll tell you on back channels. Putting together festivals. We're putting together lanes for the families. We're putting together a lot of different things in that. Yeah, hashtag family, but not just the families. What Mike's doing and going around and understanding like what's coming up, what festivals are coming up. He can help us if we all figure out where they are and who they are, whether if it's Brian's, if it's with Mary and the CMAs, if I'm in Nashville, wherever I am and Tree of Valor is, wherever we're set up and we're doing our foundations to give back to the community, definitely let us know what is going on as far as any festivals, awards that we can be at to help assist and help you. Mike, with I heard that you met with Latrell recently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
My nephew's a SEAL. He's retired in Austin. Morgan's a SEAL. Love him. He's cool.
Yeah. I've always wanted to meet him. I haven't had a chance to meet him, but I definitely would like to meet him.
He's very down to earth, very personable. He hasn't changed because he's a congressman, except maybe he wears a suit and a tie every once in a while,
How often does he stay down your way? Is he there quite a bit?
Yeah, I see him maybe every other month. Yeah, I've seen him a couple times. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let him know or let me know when he's here. And I definitely need to have a chat with him for sure.
Well, one thing we do, just FYI, what I've been doing too to raise awareness is that we started a YouTube channel, but it's not necessarily about foundations. It's about talking and talking to veterans. I call it Big Stick Stories, because I'd mentioned to you that when I go around and I meet folks like Brian, everybody's got a story. My nephew spent 2 years in Fallujah. He's got stories. When he got married, 6 or 8 of his Army buddies came into town and they started drinking and talking about stories. And, there's a lot of stories, right?
There are.
And so I think part of the adjustment back to society is to ask these guys, what was it like? Tell me your story, and just let them go on for 15 minutes. And I think, just talking through it and having somebody saying, hey, I'm interested in what happened to you, and you want to talk about it? Great. If not, that's okay too. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. And just it makes everything more personable. And it for the rest of the world, they get to experience what it's like for a guy who's walking around the deck of an aircraft carrier, or for somebody who's riding in the back of a Humvee. You know what I mean? So not everything's glamorous. Something is just dirty and sweaty, and 6 months of that. And, I could tell stories about people haven't showered in 6 months or 9 months, so.
I actually could too. You're referring to our service members, but when I say underprivileged children, when I grew up in the foster system in ways that I want these kids to get tickets for, that's a very familiar thing too. There's a lot of stories there, Mike. I can definitely contribute to almost any subject. Lori always says that. She's like, how in the world do you immediately, like the Go Big or Go Home? I know she's like, how in the world does that happen? Every show somehow you connect. And normally Lori would book the Wednesday show. This is a special episode. Lori is at the gallery. Are you going to turn it on and let us see? Will you let me know when, Lori?
I did want to tell him. I wanted to tell Brian we actually have a distillery here well, there's a lot of distilleries here in North Carolina, but one of them is a bourbon up in Weldon, North Carolina. It's called Weldon, and it's owned by the partners. I think they're both veterans. But one day we were there, and we were talking about stories. We were there, and we had a lot of our trees there, and one of their customers actually came down and said, "I want one of these trees in the distillery." And I said, "Well, don't you think you should ask them first?" He's like, "Listen, I do what I want. Trust me, they're gonna want this." He said, "Well, how much are they?" People don't buy them. He's like, "No, I want to buy one." I said, "Well, you don't have to buy one. You can just take one." He said, "Well, which one should I take?" I said, "Well, almost every event we go to, people say, 'Are you going to bring the coal?'" So many people have a connection to the USS Cole. So I have this amazing picture. I should have sent that to Tracy to show, but there he went, he picks up this tree, boom, 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 up, and he goes up this big hill to the distillery. And to this day, this tree is sitting in this distillery, and it's something that evokes stories in people there.
And Lori, the base that's near there, there's a distillery, and then there's a base right near there. There's some active duty individuals.
But not in Weldon.
Not in Weldon, but in North Carolina. The active duty individuals who are creating the fallen flag of Texas that we will have for us to carry over to every event is coming out of a distillery. Mike, I'll have to send you this picture of this flag that they're sending that we've built. But it is a distillery, and there are two active duty soldiers. And when you zoom in to see the barrels, it's quite interesting. I'll send you that picture, Mike, and you can kind of probably reference us better on who that is. I do know it's two active duty soldiers who put this together. And I'll have that at the September concert with the CMA of Texas. Make sure I get all that clear up there. So it's right up there above you in the right hand corner for anyone watching the screen. Here on Patriots Inside the Wire, we are truth tellers. We are bringing people together for the community. We are bringing in the arts. We are bringing in all sorts of things, just like what you're doing. Are you in by chance, Mike, with the cigar?
Cigars for Warriors.
Yes. Okay.
Cigars for Warriors. A really nice account of ours. I know the manager is the David Off Cigar Bar in the Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done Cigars for Warriors. You donate a bottle or two, and then they auction off cigars and raise money, things like that.
Yes. And then there was Heroes for Legacies. That's a major one out of Texas. So there's some things that I can connect with on the back channels with you too. Between all the people that we know and the things that we have going on. The concert, for instance, I know that it's at Lucy Blues, and so we were looking at Big Stick Bourbon. Actually, Mary, gotta give Mary every bit of that credit right there. I'm all about giving people credit where it's due. Number one. Number two, I am looking forward to that coming up, and all of us just getting together, good music, supporting good people, Lori keeping everybody in line in person, and then taking care of all of the families and the people and having a great time by remembering and honoring. So I am always the type that's like, I'd rather you come talk to me and pick up the phone rather than anything else. And Brian, as you serving, we went over that, you were deployed too. Ironically, he was deployed in a similar area as mine was. And listen, I am just a different kind of mom. My kid told me everything, plus I ran an organization that was all military centered. So I think probably Lori knows it all too, but I know way too much, more than I should possibly know, but we were very, very, very close. So that kid can make you still to this day. I mean, I am okay because of me. So don't worry about me. If you're around me, I'd rather see you smiling and remembering and saying, yeah, Two Step's a funny guy. He'll come test all the bourbon you want. And then he'll be like, where's the cheese? It's an inside joke, but you got to have the cheese. And
Well,
Brian,
so you want another a quick story, a joke story?
yeah, go for it.
Okay, so this is easy. So Joe, when we started out, like I said, a JAG, 21 years at the Pentagon, worked for the commandant on his commandant staff, as high up as you can get. And so we have this stick in the bottle, simple idea, right? Well, as you turn it over, Joe said we need to put a stopper in the bottle. So if you can see that, there's actually a pour spout. It's like a bar stopper internally.
Right.
Right? So when you pour it, the stick doesn't fall out. I said, well, Joe, I'm the engineer. If you turn it over sideways, part of the stick's going to fall to the bottom. It's engineering. It's not going to fall out. We don't need to add an extra 5 cents. And Joe says to me, Mike, no. You don't understand. I know my Marines. They'll try to pull the stick out and light it on fire. So this isn't a pour spout. It's an anti-marine incendiary,
Toy. It's
toy.
an anti
Stopper,
toy.
yeah. So nobody tries to light it on fire. Yeah,
It's a cautionary part. It's a piece.
exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
cautionary piece for
Right.
the Marines out there. I like that.
Right.
My
'Cause
son
their
wanted
job
to-
is to break things, and so yeah.
Well, I was just gonna
He ate
I
the
was-
stick in the bottle.
I was just gonna comment on your symbolism real quick, just because we were talking about history. So I was in the military police corps, and so a lot of our symbolism we date back to the Spartans, because the Spartans were the first group of people to institute military civility, is the best way to put it. And so I served on what's called a special reaction team, which is basically the equivalent to a SWAT team. And our motto, not to take anything away from the SEALs, but it dates back to the Spartans. So instead of tip of the spear, we were tip of the sword. And the Army, a lot of people, if you're talking symbolism, it's you have the broadside of the sword. That's the Army, and you got the tip of the sword is the special operators. And but bourbon, I was going to ask you. I'm kind of in my mode of life where I don't drink, but when I drink, I like just a nice sipping whiskey. Sometimes it'll take me like 30 minutes to just take 2 fingers. So is your bourbon good enough just to sit and drink warm, or is it good chilled?
Most people, if they know bourbon, when they meet me in the stores, they drink it and they say, I can drink this straight out of the bottle. So that's, I think, is the highest compliment I can get. And even the ladies, they'll say that it's, and I'm not bragging, they tell it's the smoothest they've ever tasted. So when I'm in Fort Worth, I'll look you up. Okay, bro, I'll
Absolutely
buy you a drink. It's, it's all good.
Yeah, I'll have to come down and see you at the event you got coming up.
Yeah, the social space downtown in Stockyards. Yeah. You should know where it is. Yeah.
Well, and when I'm back in town, I plan to as well. And then I'm supposed to also meet with Brian, and I'll be back and forth down for the September 27th.
Yeah, I'll be there as well.
And exactly. So September 27th at the Gold Star concert series that we have going on. And then he says, give me a glass of beer and I'll drop a shot of that whiskey in it. So that's Frank's message. And he says to tell Lori hello.
That Frank Tom?
It is Frank DeMett. He has the book that he gave you.
Okay. He wants to be on the show, I think.
Well, you know what, Frank? Get in touch with Lori, and you can definitely, if it's a Wednesday. Our Tuesdays and Thursdays is two-step tribe. That's where you're going to have a whole lot of music. Just pop on in, literally, with Lori, and she can get you scheduled.
I wanted to thank Mike. Your bio was very impressive.
Oh, thank you.
It was really, Tracy and I were like, wow, I could, yeah. You could have stories for days, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on and on. It's fine. It's fun. I've been very fortunate to travel all over the world and to work for a lot of different companies on a high level. When I left college, I worked for an aerospace engineering firm. And that in my bio, but what that really means is we built missiles for the government. So I am a rocket scientist. That's what we did. And I traveled all over the world, and I got to see some really cool stuff. You know, and even to this day, it still amazes me that this was, you know, now 40 years ago. And people don't realize how sophisticated things were back then.
Right.
You know,
Right. It's just a lot of times people don't, if you don't serve, people don't realize what a fundamental contribution you might be making, because
yeah.
Brian's bio was ridiculous as well. Like there wasn't room on the flyer.
I work with people that were all PhDs, and I was not. But they didn't give out business cards. They didn't give out phone numbers. They called you. You didn't call them. You know, it was Dr. Joe or Dr. Mary. You didn't know their last name. And when they needed something, they called you and you answered, and then they went away for 6 months, and then something else happened. And that's how you do business, you know. So,
But I just wanted to thank both of you because,
Yeah.
you know, one of the things we always say on the show is we see you. And we definitely want you to know we see you. We see your contributions, both of you. And we just appreciate everything that you have done.
thank you.
Yeah, definitely. We love it. I love the part about the pouring spout, setting it on fire, and the fact that with what you do and being in engineering, and as much as you know that we're just going to appease everybody and go ahead and put that there and make sure there's no large fires going off with the,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, unless we're building them ourselves, we won't have any fires or nobody eating or trying to chew on the wood too. I mean,
Well, people have done that at the trade shows. They've tried to pull it out and chew on it. So, yeah.
I could imagine. I literally.
Well, I will say, take it out and put it on your smoker. So for your barbecue.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. No, that's interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
And your background, Mike, is in what?
So I went to college, electrical engineering. I worked in advanced engineering at General Motors. With the first designs, seriously, if you will, for the analog brake systems on cars were actually designed in the research lab I worked at, and they weren't for cars. They were designed for the front nose cone of an F-14 Tomcat. So they crash land on the deck of an aircraft carrier, and so they were designed for analog brakes for the nose cone on fighter jets. That's where analog brakes came from.
Wow.
Very cool. Well, look who just popped in on us, everybody. That is Uncle Rhino. Hello to Mike Ryan, Brian Sprague, and Lori here at Tree of Valor. Hello, Uncle Rhino. How are you doing?
Everybody knows I'm blowing that kiss to Lori, but I was actually blowing it to Brian right there. So, yeah, the man had me at Tomcat. That's all I heard was Tomcat, and I thought I got to roll in there and go see what everybody's doing.
It's good to see you. Good to see you. We've been talking about Big Stick Bourbon and just the design of the darn bottle, and I'm like, go big or go home, which that's on the bottle that I've never seen. And then we've gotten into,
I'd never had bourbon named after me before, but I'm real excited about it. Yeah. Laurie keeps laughing. She tried not to. She even looked away just then because she was afraid that Jesus was upset with her. Yes. Hey, I like the whole thing about people need to know that truth about whiskey and bourbon and the differences and all that kind of stuff. People going through life without knowing that. And that's one of the cosmic truths. That's big stuff. We're Irish, so it's an automatic.
Life's too short to drink cheap whiskey.
Truly. We go from the bottle to the bottle. I mean, that's how we were growing up. So,
Well, the difference between an Irish wedding and an Irish funeral, right?
We fight at both.
One less drunk.
Yeah, that's right. No, facts. You know how many Irishmen it takes to screw in a light bulb? 15. I'll go ahead and tell you, 15. It takes one to stand in a chair and to hold the light bulb at the socket, and the other 14 will drink till the room spins. That's facts. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know how we got started on that subject, but I will just go with it. So 15
Whiskey.
put in the light bulb, and then the whiskey, and then the design of the bottle. We've got Brian here talking about the music chart and what he's working on, digitizing. And then I was clearing up some things. We've had some messages here where we're trying to let people understand there's different awards out there all over. There's CMAs here, there's CMAs in Nashville. There's Brian and what he's doing with the Texas Music Chart and his coding and all the radio, keeping up with the reporting. Correct, Brian? Am I
Correct.
saying that correct? Okay.
Yep. I've got another platform that I'm about to launch. I sent Uncle Rhino some information on it, but the 20-year plan on that is nothing short of a cosmic feat that we will have to. Everything's just gonna have to be perfectly timed. But in the end, one of my goals is to take, if the business works out properly, I'll put it that way. One of the goals is to employ veterans and offer them 0% financing for homes and build them quality homes for them to live in. That's the dream. That's the goal.
That's a nice dream.
Yes. And the
The-
families, right, Brian?
What's that?
And the Gold Star families, the
Absolutely. Wow.
kids, yeah.
So that dream would be open to the families of veterans. That'd be open to military, police, fire, medical personnel.
You're going to need my logo up here that covers
Everything.
look, every shield you could possibly get up there. I was like, we got to put them all in there.
Yeah.
It's all in there. No, I can't wait. And then in March, you'll be doing your award show and a festival. We talked about the festival, Uncle Rhino, the very large festival to get together with.
If you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly.
Yes, it's going to be a bear, be a grizzly. That's his statement. I say go big or go home. Lori, she's the boss over there. She'll whip them all into shape on location, literally. Her or Scott won with the Tree of Valor. And so, Mike, yeah, we definitely want to get you down. I know for a fact that with the Sergeant Two-Step concert, September 27th, that location we were going to talk to about Big Stick Bourbon. So, because it wasn't in there when we looked. So, I do know that that's exactly how you came out, actually. So, you've got some people already watching your back.
Thank you.
And
Well, I'll tell you right now, Mike. If you want to get involved, I will make Big Stick Bourbon the official bourbon of the Texas Academy of Country Music Awards.
Okay.
For as long as you want to get involved,
yeah,
and it'll be the only bourbon served.
Well, let's start with having a drink in Fort Worth in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
How's that?
I like
But
that.
this is how it's supposed to be. It's organic. Everybody comes into these visits looking for reasons to say yes, yes, and yes, as opposed to the way it is in the outside side of the circle where people are always trying to jockey for what's in it for me, what's in it for you. Rising tide lifts all boats. If that ain't for you, sail. We got other stuff to do. So I like seeing this where the guys are reaching out to each other. That's the whole purpose of what we're doing. Ain't that right, Lori?
Woo, there was a scratch there. Woo.
Yeah, I was a little dry.
Oh. Oh, hilarious. Tonight you are on Patriots Inside the Wire with Big Stick Bourbon. Go back. It is Mike Ryan, Brian Sprague, founder of Texas Music Chart and veteran, going over the different things here in Texas, and Tree of Valor, Mrs. Lori Egerter, on with Uncle Rhino tonight on a Wednesday show for Patriots Inside the Wire, discussing not only Big Stick Bourbon, the CMA concert that's coming up, Brian Sprague and what he's doing, and as well Uncle Rhino and what he's doing in order to get in with the artists and the tribe and bringing everybody together into these venues, whether it's Patriot Fest, Freedom Fest, the Sergeant Two-Step series. This is all surrounded by music and families, and we get later, it's, you know, the kids go home, but the award shows, we are a unit of individuals bringing together. Unc needs a, yeah, you got, she's in here. Hi, Valenia. She's funny. I like her. She makes me laugh. So you got Valenia she does some stuff for Brian. There at
She's
Texas.
amazing.
Yes, she really is. She's always there for the music. Lori has been very quiet. Were you going to show us the gallery?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because so normally on a Wednesday show at the end, what happens is if she's at the gallery, and she's at the gallery right now in North Carolina, so that she can show us what that looks like. And while she's showing us, I usually play a song. What are we going to be seeing tonight?
Well, I really wanted them to see, both Mike and Brian, that what makes our festival different is that it's the only festival that has a place when, Mike was talking about telling stories, right? When we take these to an event, it creates an entire healing environment. And for whatever reason, people walk through these trees and they feel like it's a safe place. And it creates all these conversations. Sometimes it brings tears, but it always ends up with laughing, right? So we are the place of storytellers. And it is what makes any concert that the Tree of Valor goes to with Tracy, it makes it different. It is the whipped cream, the cherry, the jimmies. It all has all the things that makes it different than anything else you go to. And I'm bold enough to say it because I just have seen it too many times, heard too many stories. So I don't brag much, but when it comes to these,
Well, it will be there. It will definitely be there with Lori. That's Lori at the Tree of Valor. It will definitely be there. I mean, that's how we met, and that's how we'll keep it. So at any of our festivals, Lori's going to be there setting up. Uncle Rhino he's already been in touch with Scott with the Tree of Valor. So which were you going to show us tonight? I know what you want. You want empty chair at the table. But what are you going to show?
Because they're the ones that they're the ones they want to see.
I don't know if it's me, but I couldn't hear you. What name?
The white trees is called Remembrance Place.
Okay.
It's where most of the moms who watch this, that's where their children. There's one young man specifically that it's his birthday today. And he's one of the ones that his picture was on my phone. And my daughter, who doesn't speak, it's a long story. He was able to tell me that I had a picture on my phone that I didn't even know about. And I ended up, we made the picture, got him on the tree, and I reached out to his mom, and today's his birthday. So I definitely want her to see that.
Well, I still have Brian and Mike and Uncle Rhino over here on the side to see, and I've given you the screen for a moment so they can see it. When you tell me ready, you get to choose. You said empty chair, or you want the whisper.
Well, we haven't done the whisper before, so if you want to do the whisper,
let's do this. You want to stick to empty chair since I've got that for the gallery?
Well, if you are, then just do that one.
It's up to you. You pick.
Empty chair.
Okay, so here's what she's going to do. She's going to show you out of the gallery where she's at in North Carolina, and she'll get up close. Here we're going to roll a song for you. It's called Empty Chair at the Table.
Christmas lights felt bright and golden. Now the nights are dark and frozen. You were here, my heart was swelling. Now I'm left with tales worth telling. Photos framed, but they ain't breathing. Silent room, my chest is heaving. You were strength in uniform. Now my life is weather worn. Empty chair at the table where you used to be. Echoes of your laughter haunt this memory. Heaven called you home, but left this heart alone. Warriors honor a love carved carved in stone. Messages left unwritten for the hero that I'm missing. You were here, my pride would blossom. Now my tears, they fall unbidden. Friends ask how I've been holding, hands clasped tight as I am folding. You were courage from afar, now my guiding northern star. Empty chair at the table where you used to be. Echoes of your laughter haunt this memory. Heaven called you home, but left this heart alone. Warriors honor a love carved in stone. Messages left unwritten for the hero that I'm missing. You were here, my pride would blossom. Now my tears, they fall unbidden. Friends ask how I've been holding, hands clasped tight as I am folding. You were courage from afar, now my guiding northern star. Empty chair at the table where you used to be. Echoes of your laughter haunt this memory. Heaven called you home, but left this heart alone. Warriors honor a love carved in stone.
Beautiful, beautiful, Lori. I'm going to bring everybody back over. Here we are. You're in the middle there, Lori. She's looking at that. So did everyone here on the screen get to see that? Mike, Brian, Uncle Rhino, did you get to see? She's walking around the gallery. It's in North Carolina there. And it's not just trees. There's the ones for veterans that are living like Brian, your whole family. Some are purple for a reason. Some are white for a reason. There's different reasons. But I actually saw a Two Steps picture on one of those there, Lori, if you can hear us.
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, you got, what tree do you have that on?
It's the it's called Heroes We Lost.
Okay.
It's, there's all different ways we lose people in the military. And like this is the extortion 1-7. So everybody that was lost on that chopper is on the same tree. So if you were lost together, then we put you back together. So like this is the Battle of Nha Trang in Vietnam. So this was like the first 3 days of that, or the 3 days of that battle.
Yeah, that was we did the actual interview actually for that one. If anyone wants to go back, just go back to our YouTube channel and you can see a lot of that.
Right.
I saw you there, Frank. He's signing out. Thank you for joining and staying with us. We're hitting it almost an hour and a half, so we'll be letting our guests go here in a minute. We were able to see the whole gallery, Lori. That was great. So she stayed after late tonight at the gallery, literally. So thank you for that. It's very nice. She'll have guests come in and interview them there, and then different galas and things. Uncle Rhino, we got to get some bands in there in North Carolina and do a jam in there with some music.
We actually have 2 pianos now, so we want to do dueling pianos.
I don't play piano, but
we have pianos. We have a left-handed guitar, a drum box.
Yeah,
got my own little band in here.
You're muted. Let me get you, Uncle Rhino. Unless you did it yourself. You're muted. Unmute yourself, Uncle Rhino.
Hell, I dang sure am. That's why you can't give me anything with switches on it. Brian already knows that. Hey, so that's called a cajon, Lori. That drum box, that beat box, that's called a cajon.
Yes, I got that for Scott.
Yeah, see, what I never did ask you, why did you choose the medium of the tree?
Because my son had come home and it was right before Christmas.
Mm,
And so because it was Christmas, that was his favorite holiday. It just turned out that that was, he came home and the tree was up but not decorated. And then he left to go overseas and we were sad and didn't want to decorate the tree. And we had already made all these beautiful family mementos of people in the military. And I was like, this is going to be our Christmas tree.
Uh,
And then once Christmas was over, he sent us this beautiful picture of him and his comrades, filthy, gorgeous, and it said family on the bottom of it. And I was like, wow, my search for family in the military just totally changed. And one of the pictures back there, I don't know if you could see it. One of the Gold Star moms said, why Christmas trees? And she said,
well, Lori,
because
you
they
know
point
that
to
mine
heaven where my son is.
it points up to heaven, but so everyone I have a tree up, it stays up, and I've had people walk in and say it's small, and it used to have. I had the big one up for several years, and it's because it was literally like I had him home, and it was not even 6 weeks later that he left, and he's no longer here. So my tree wasn't down yet, and it stayed up for several years. And now I have one that stays up all the time. I'll have to send you a picture. I don't even know if I've ever told you that, but it's the same reason. Nobody else has ever asked, but Uncle Rhino just asked. So I've never said anything. But I've had a couple of people walk in and go, "Is that a Christmas tree?" And I'm like, "It's my tree."
And here there's 100 trees here
Yeah.
from 12 inches to 12 feet. So people just walk in and they're just like, wow, they just don't even know what to
Gallery
say.
itself and the stuff that's outside and the displays. So there's a lot more. And then we've got the flag that we're having made. So when we do events, we set up and we're going to honor all. So we got music, we've got the spirit, we've got the events, awards, we got this boss lady set it all up. So we've got all the makings of a beautiful, beautiful event when we're all coming together. So that's what it's about: community, getting together, uplifting each other, and working together to make a difference. So thank you for showing this. That is Lori's favorite song, literally. So she's allowed to have that song, and she plays that song. It is "Empty Chair at the Table," and I don't think I have to even explain what it means, but it's for anybody out there. Somebody has an empty chair at their table every time, so it's not just military.
And these are also the chairs as well that we
Yeah, and
took
they do the
to
chairs as well.
it's this. I don't have the lights on because the gallery's not open now, but each of
Yeah.
these chairs has a veteran that we lost to that took his own life.
Yeah, they
So
do
we
the
took the 22 chairs all over the country and changed the pictures of who goes in there, and we say their names, and the veterans that at the events will that we just meet will literally march in
around them.
formation to the chairs. They'll say the name, they'll place the picture, and then salute. It is breathtaking.
So
Just
I wanted to touch on the loss of veterans and the incredibly high suicide rate that we have. And I'm not going to talk to the why, but I'm going to speak to maybe well, not the how do I put this? I'm going to tell you a story that kind of exemplifies the state of mind that we are in when we're in those situations compared to how normal people think. And I'll use my own story for that. So I was in Fob Zoo in Iraq. I was walking to the shower. I was in my PT shorts and my shirt, and an RPG hit a T-wall. And a T-wall is a 24-inch piece of concrete that tees out on the bottom so it has stability. It goes up 20 feet in the air. And an RPG 20 feet in front of me hit the T-wall. Luckily, the guy that launched it forgot to pull the pin, so it never exploded. But my first reaction was to not run away. My first reaction was to go look at it. and then check everybody around to make sure they were okay. And when you come back to a situation where people don't think that same way, it's very disruptive and disturbing.
Yep.
And it's hard to shut that off.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
And everybody else doesn't really understand. I mean, they say they do, but they don't. If you weren't there, we can say we understand, but none of us does. None of us here right this minute has lived through what you've lived through. So, mad respect to you, sir.
Definitely. And so again, if anyone out there is in need of help, remember to call 988 and get that help. It's much better to do that. I would rather receive a call too and talk to you rather than get an invitation to something, because I'm not going to show up there, but I'll sit on the phone with you and we'll get you some help. So,
and I'll throw this out there, Tracy, and I have no problem doing this. If you are a veteran and you need
or a
somebody,
family member,
you need somebody to talk to, my phone number is 817-382-7301. Call or text me anytime. I will talk to you.
Yeah, be careful there, Brian, because I do that with the bases, and I have to tell them sometimes, like, okay, let me have a little bit of a break, but I will put you in touch if you want with up here at Fort Hood. So a lot of the families, I'll get just put someone in there, someone like a mentor. And we do usually look for veterans to set with a family. So, and it's almost like it heals both sides. And that's also part of the Sergeant Two-Step Foundation. So, yes, we tie into the bases too and still do a lot. But between that and then our fun is the Two-Step Tribe and our festivals. And we all get to honor and remember while we're there. But in the meantime, if you do need that help, please reach out. Again, it's Patriots Inside the Wire tonight. You got Uncle Rhino popping in on us with the Two-Step Tribe. We'll be on tomorrow night. Tree of Valor is always on a Wednesday. Please reach out to Lori to be on our Warrior Show, Patriots Inside the Wire. Brian Sprague here, a veteran. Thank you for your service. And again, I want to know more about the Texas Music Chart and what is coming up in regards to you and working together on that festival. Go big or go home for sure, Mike Ryan. I agree with that one. I got to get my hands on a bottle of that just to sit here while I'm doing my music reviews. Literally, we have an inside joke, but I can grab yours as they grab theirs. I was like, what in the world? Like, why would you grab that? I'm not going to tell on the person what they grabbed. Like, yeah, well, it was a Coors Light. I was like,
I'll be in your neck of the woods on Friday.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. Sounds great. I hope everyone's had a good evening. Uncle, what would you like to say?
I wanted to touch on something that Brian was touching on, and I'll make it as brief as possible. But if you are a family member or a service member, and at any point you are finding that you're not surrounded by dark, but there's a lack of light, and you are feeling like this is just not for you, you have to understand that there are so many of us that's all we see when we look at you is light. And you are absolutely the best of us. You exemplify the greatest in us. You are a national treasure. You are not to be thrown away. And just what Brian said, please, 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 we can't bear to lose you. If at any point that you feel like you just can't do it on your own, at any point, please do not hesitate to call that number. What's that number, Tracy?
Well, right now you just hit 988. It doesn't have to go in there. You literally, for anybody out there, 988. Your first call. Obviously, 911 if it's an immediate need.
988. Let's stay on point. That's you guys are a national treasure. From top of the tier to the bottom, servicemen and women are the greatest part of the United States, and we are so grateful for you, and we cannot bear to lose you. Please remember that. That's all I got.
Most certainly. Mike Ryan, what words do you have?
There's always someone you can turn to ask for help. All you have to do is just say, hey, I need some help. I promise you there's 100 people around you, no matter where you are, that will help you.
True.
Back.
Brian, you've already said, here's my phone number.
No, I mean, and it's tough to tell. And I, when I was going to college, my fourth or fifth college after getting out of the service, because I had no idea who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, anything like that. And I'm still not doing what I went to college for. But saw a guy, and fellow veteran. We were talking. We were having a great time. We went out. We were at the NHRA drags together, working and having fun. And that night, he went home and took his own life. And there was no hint. There was no.
I hear that so much.
Would
No
that
cry
happen
for-
with my brother? I would have never, ever, ever. Strongest person, big guy. We knew 2 years before that there were situations, but nothing, no signs. I mean, just strong individual. I practically raised him, but I'll hit 2 years coming up. But yeah, I've had a couple of family members. So Brian, it's something we want to stop for sure. So we want everybody to understand that life is short, kindness is easy, taking care of each other. Everything else is noise. And that's what I have to do, is block that negative energy, be sure to help others, and give back to the community. It's pretty basic common sense in my book. I just have to throw in music because it's medicinal for me. And then I throw the rest to Lori, and she'll whip them all into shape.
Hey, I do have a Fort Hood tree since we're talking to some Texas folks down there. So
Yeah, we got to get an event going on there.
I meant I want to show it. I want to show the Fort Hood tree.
She wants to show Mike and Brian and Uncle Rhino.
It's just one incident, but it's somebody.
See, I don't see a room full of trees, Lori. When I look at what you've created and what your team has created, I see a room that's full of dedication. I see a room that's full of remembrance. I see a room that's full of love.
You see, go big or go home's what you see.
That's what I see, Mama.
Am I right, Mike?
Nailing it.
Yeah, look, I said it at first to him too. I'm like, well, we're go bigger.
All right.
I said that earlier, and Mike grabbed that bottle and said, look. And if you know me well enough, if you ask me, what do you need? I'm going to tell you flat out. And then I said, you go big or go home. And Mike grabbed that bottle, and I went, yeah, that figures.
Just as like
I love it. That's my kind of people. Brian, it's go big or go home. So anything you're working on, anything you're doing, I want to know about it. There's enough out there for everybody, especially as many artists that are independent out there that are looking to us in the tribe. Mike Ryan knows about the tribe because he knows Barry Coughing. So as far as Springboard, so all of us here are actually connected more than a lot of the people out there that are watching this. I just want to let you know that with Springboard and some other things we're working on and have been on with festivals, we all know each other. So tonight it's been a beautiful night, and I thank you for being on Patriots Inside the Wire with Mike Ryan, Big Stick Bourbon. I still keep getting the one that's saying, where do we order Big Stick Bourbon, Mike? And your answer is what?
Because it's liquor in the state of Texas, you have to go to a retail liquor store to buy it. So go bug your nearest retail liquor store to buy it. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Bug them, yes. Bug them a lot.
Is there a way to go to a website, Mike, and go and key in or email the name of liquor stores that are in people's areas, submit to y'all? Is there any way for people to do that?
You can message us on Instagram, and we can try to get to those places.
Yes.
It's much easier if they go to our distributor is GIMA out of New Braunfels, as that's our distributor. Texas is very, very strict. I can't sell it directly. That's 20 years in jail. I mean, it's onerous. It's onerous. So you got to go through the retail liquor stores. So best way is just to bug your local store owner, and they'll find a way to get it.
I descended from some whiskey makers, but that was during a time where I'm not entirely sure they used the proper channels.
I could have an off the record conversation with you, but
Yeah, we'll have one off. We'll have it off the table, off the record. Yes.
okay.
We'll do that. But again, get a hold of anybody. If we're talking about an alcohol supplier, I don't think we have to provide them a list. I bet they know where their alcohol location is at.
They all have salespeople they talk to. They all know how to get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but as an individual, like if you're going to buy alcohol, you know where you're going to go get your alcohol. Just ask them to provide Big Stick Bourbon in their inventory. And out of New Braunfels, is that a
Well, the store owners can always message us on Instagram as well, Big Stick
Right.
Spirits. So that's probably the easiest way.
okay?
But the store owners, you just gotta bug them. I mean, there's like 500 or 1,000 liquor stores in Texas. There's plenty of room.
What's in New Braunfels, Mike?
And it's just our distributor. So he's the guy
Okay.
that buys from our distillery, and then he transports it to the liquor stores. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm
it's,
not too far from
it's
there.
complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah, I'm not far from there. I know a little bit of it because of the cigar side. So on back channels, we'll discuss more. But
Yeah, well, if you're in Round Rock, probably Pecan Park, Lakeline Mall.
yeah, north of that. Yeah, north.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the outlet centers, University Boulevard, that whole area, it's blown up like crazy.
Sure.
I'm about 45 minutes from Fort Hood. I'm
Sure.
north Austin.
Yeah.
Brian is up near the Dallas Fort Worth area. So anything Brian, you're up near the Dallas.
I'm in downtown Fort Worth.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. Okay, yeah. So anything
Well,
you come
and
across-
say a prayer. We're trying to propose a pitch to all the Army and Navy bases this fall. Hopefully, we'll be doing a sales pitch to them to get into all the bases around the world. So yeah,
wow.
that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to do some of our Patriot Fest concerts on the actual bases. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll stay in close connection because since everybody's doing a lot of work, we can all put together that information, Rolodex, whatever you want to call it. I'm dating myself by saying the word Rolodex, but I kind of miss them. I'm even not that old. I'm an old soul. I don't know.
Hey, it doesn't need batteries. Rolodex doesn't need batteries. So
Exactly. Yeah. And I like something I can hold in my hands, items.
It works without Wi-Fi.
That too. It's the basics. Got to get back to the basics and giving. Lori, thank you for being there in the gallery tonight, literally, and staying. Brian, thank you for joining us. Again, you've got several things you're working on as far as the festivals. You've got Patriot Fest on your to-do list. You've got the Sergeant Two-Step Foundation site. Brian's actually going to be doing the Sergeant Two-Step Foundation's website to make it separate from Patriots Inside the Wire, since we're going to be doing different awards categories and different concert series with those awards. So it'll be the CMA's Birth of Texas with Mary, and that is September 27th at Lucy Blues. Again, Mike, we want to get you in touch with Lucy Blues, and especially that night. So that night, I would love for you to be a part of that. And then Brian is also talking with us about doing some things and helping to get sponsors and what we're going to do. And you look at Uncle Rhino, he's got the music covered between him and Mary. When it's your awards show, I'll say this, like Brian, Mary, any of you, first we go to Uncle Rhino, and then whatever you have at your awards is yours. We're not asking you or telling you have to change up anything except, like at least
We're in the support business.
Yeah, the support business. But Uncle Rhino's the one that I'd say he can get up there and sing one of his, like Mary wants him to. But I'll just say thank you and go sit down. I like to write, like I know that you do too, Brian. So
It's about showcasing all the people who are out there grinding out on a regular basis and who are doing everything for the right reasons, shining those lights. That's what we're doing. And we're putting them out front. In the event that I do get up there and play with everybody, yes, sir, I will spike the floor with the ceiling. We will do that till we get tired. But we're going to have all these other folks up there shining. It's going to be about them and be about the people who come to attend and those that we're supporting.
Of course it is. I have to say thank you to American Hat Company out there. Thank you for what they're doing in helping us. They do not have hats like Uncle Rhino. I thought, man,
They're going to have to tighten up.
I don't know where to get one, but I would wear it. I like my hats. I do like cigars, and I would try the bourbon. And
I got the hookup for you on the Uncle Rhino hat.
Okay, literally. Yeah, there you go. Shout out again to Heroes Media Group because we've been on and we get 2 hours on the radio. So 107.5 The Swamp is our home. They've been very good to us. They will replay this again. So, and this will go out if you are listening to this at 107.5 or any of the other 60 syndicated stations as well nationwide. You can find the original footage at YouTube. Just hit Patriots Inside the Wire. It's very easy. Or just go to our website, patriotsinsidethewire.com, and you will find everything that we've done. Or you can check out Two-Step with a Two-Step Tribe, and find us on all the platforms as well. So that is our music show. We have a lot coming up. We will have Megan Irby tomorrow, and then next week we got a big week too. So I want to say good night to everybody out there, and thank you for tuning in to Patriots Inside the Wire here with Uncle Rhino. Thank you, sir. Miss Lori Egerter from the Tree of Valor, who's always here with me on a Wednesday. Stay tuned. She's got the list for Wednesdays. Brian Sprague, thank you for being yourself and stepping up and taking that oath born in domestic and continuing it on into the community. I thank you for that. I thank you for continuing music as well. Mike Ryan, is very nice to meet you. I love the design. I love every bit of it. I love mostly the story about the Marines and the toy and the fire. So remember what I said when we first started. Let's think about the idea of going into these things for the Sergeant Two-Step Foundation. You're that creative inventing individual. So Mike Ryan, everybody, check out Big Stick Bourbon. And you can find Big Stick Spirits literally everywhere. Instagram. Brian, would you like to shout out the correct website to go to?
Yeah, so if you want to go to find the chart, which gets published, got published last night, goes up on the website usually Tuesday night. Emails go out on Monday morning. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's actually like a full-on magazine that goes out every week. And it is, you can find it at TextChart, that's texchart.com. If you want to find out about the nonprofit, Texas Academy of Country Music, you can go to texasacm.com.
Okay. Everybody that heard that again, like I said, if you want to come back and go to the show, the easiest thing to do is go to YouTube. It's texchart.com. texchart.com. Correct, Brian?
Yep, texchart.com.
Yep, we got it. I did it. I went past public school and I made it past multiple levels of schooling. So texchart.com. I don't know. I'm not even going to brag. I'll just be quiet. I'm going to say thank you for joining us tonight on Patriots Inside the Wire. Stay tuned for Two-Step Drive, where it's rowdy and loud and a lot of independent artists and business owners that get together, and we're putting on festivals and doing a lot for our artists out there. So we've got both sides of it. We've got our music, and then we've got our people to take care of in the community. Lori, thank you for what you're doing. I'll see you here soon. We're going to sign off here. We get another person here. I just don't want to yet. She's so good. She's just keeping up for you there. There, Valenia. Yep, we got it. texchart.com. Thank you, hon. Thank you so much. Uncle Rhino, pleasure. Brian, pleasure. Mike, pleasure. Can't wait to see that bottle. Literally. Hold tight. We're signing off to everybody.